Hi, welcome to another episode of Galaxy Gardens. My name is Chrissy, and today we're going to be harvesting some stuff outside. I want to make herb salt. That's my goal. I saw a lot of basil coming in, and I really want to mix that maybe with some sage. We have some sage that's still kicking too, and I think that would make a really nice herb salt. It's been kind of a quiet week here. We've gotten rain. We had 2 days straight of rain, and today it's been cloudy and it might rain this evening. We'll see. If we do, we'll just pull out the umbrella. That's fine. But why don't we go and head back into the yard and we'll collect some stuff. This is going to be a relatively quiet video, so if you're into ASMR, this might be the one for you. Let's go. I know this looks a bit messy, but the fennel is helping keep critters away. There are a ton of green peppers in there, and just for today, this is what I harvested. I'm going to show you our shishito stash inside. We just can't keep up with them, but we're getting a lot of hot peppers, and you can see our jalapenos. Definitely going to make some poppers for the freezer. Another nice haul. These ones right here are fatales. This is an atomic starfish. And right here are the Scotch bonnets. Here you can see all of our little root crops, including some more beets in the back that I will be thinning out. They're otherwise coming in pretty strong. And our triple curled parsley still going. We are losing daylight. Our sundown is before 7:30 these days. For most of the summer, we were out here till like 8:30, 9 p.m. every day. You can do the math on how many hours that is to upkeep our property. But these days we lose it a lot sooner, so we're gonna try to work a little bit more efficiently. I have our beet bed next to us, and we're gonna try to pull out as many as we can. It's that time of year where your garden's not gonna look pretty. And ideally you'd want to take your beets out sooner, but there's still a lot of beets in here, so we're gonna take them, separate them from the greens, and add them to our little bowl here. These are the Detroit Golden beets, which you can see didn't get too large. We experimented this year by just planting one seed in each spot, and then all the little seeds that came out of it we let grow. This is about as big as they got, and we don't eat beets that much, so I'll be happy to can these. But this is one of my favorite beets other than the Chioggia. So we're gonna take the greens off. Obviously we're gonna give the greens to the chickens, but I just wanted to show you that they had a really nice color to them. Alright, there's our pile of beet greens. Let's go give those to the ladies. Here's our beets, and most of them I found are about this size or a little bit smaller. Did get a few decent sized ones, and we have more going for the fall, so those will grow more. So now I know it is possible to grow beets throughout the summer, although probably best in the early spring or in the fall. We are losing light fast, so let's go grab a couple squash that I've had my eye on and get our herbs, and we'll head back inside. Squash bugs have all but decimated our summer squash. However, our patty pans, which were their favorite, have made a comeback. You can see it took out our gray zucchini and coquerel for the most part. Our golden zucchini is making a comeback. And here we have a lot of patty pans setting flower. I got one down here we're going to take inside. That's a good size squash. I'm going to take that out, I'll show you. We're going to use the head test for this. It's pretty good. Good size. I'd eat that. Here is our other squash area. You can see spread out. We do have a banana melon coming in. One looks great. We're gonna come over here and we're gonna grab that pumpkin. Let me cut that out real quick. I'm gonna take a guess and say this is a sugar baby pie pumpkin. Looks great. We're gonna put it on our front porch to cure in the sun. I decided to pick it because it started to turn orange, so That's perfect. Last up is our herbs. I have a whole bunch of Genovese basil here that we are going to collect, bring inside and mince. Now, I don't know how you could see that on camera. You can see a little node I left here. We have 2 branches coming out. I'm just going to cut below that and take this whole branch. Whenever you're clipping basil, if you cut it at a node where 2 other branches are coming out, it'll bush up. That's the philosophy I've been following all year, because usually I have trouble with this particular type of basil. And the results are great. I mean, I already told you about the pesto. So I have a whole bunch here. We're gonna harvest it, take it inside, and then I gotta get some catmint for the cats. But the basil is primarily what we're gonna be using today. I'd say that's a decent amount of basil to make some salt with. Let's go grab the catmint and we'll go inside where we can actually see each other. We're back inside. It's officially dark out. I think it's about 7:30. And we have all our basil. I did grab some sage before we came back in. But you can see other stuff we're starting to harvest more regularly, including tomatoes and raspberries. We are getting about a pint of raspberries a day, which is perfect for us because there's just 2 of us here. And we're pretty much just freezing them right now. So I'm gonna get this basil and sage chopped up and on the board with the salt, and I'll tell you how we're gonna be preserving it. Okay, so basically chop up your herbs, and this recipe called for garlic, which I'm skeptical about because usually for things that you're preserving, if you're putting fresh garlic in it, there's a risk of botulism. My guess is that because this is such a high salt content, it'll be okay. I'm gonna add extra salt to it though. The recipe also called for lemon zest, which I don't have, so I put a little lemon juice in it and mix it up really good. So we're pretty much just putting it on this pan, and then we're gonna even it out. The recipe called for 2 pans at 200 degrees Fahrenheit in the oven. I have 1 pan at 200 degrees. So we're gonna be putting this in for longer than 20 minutes. And what you're trying to do is make sure that your herbs are drying in the oven, that your garlic is drying, and everything is getting distributed. So I put some foil on this pan. Usually I'm not too worried about putting stuff down in our pans before we cooking them, but I don't want this salt to pick up any maybe residue flavors that are there. Yeah, so this is pretty thick, but we're gonna put it in the oven. I think what I'm gonna do, oh, that tastes good. I just tried a little bit of it. I think what I'm gonna do is put it in for 20 minutes, and then we'll mix it all up, and then we'll see what it looks like, maybe put it in for another 10 or 20 minutes. So we'll come back when this is done, and we'll put it in some jars. Now ordinarily I'll use every part of the herb that I get. For this one I separated the basil leaves from the stems. The stems I'm just gonna compost them, I'm not gonna save them, but I really want those good oils from the basil to get in there with no potential bitterness from the stems. You don't really get bitterness from there, but because I'm using so much salt, and I thought we had an extra box and we don't, we're just gonna use the leaves and we'll see how it comes out. I wanted to take a quick detour and show you our shishito stash. First of all, 2 bags of berries. I've been collecting. There they are. This is my bag of shishitos. Cannot keep up with them. Also, there's a bunch of pizza. I've just been adding to it. They're so good, but there's only so much you can eat at once. There you have it. We ended up with about the perfect amount for 4 pint jars. I'll put the recipe I used in the description. I did modify it because I did about 2/3 kosher salt. I had coarse kosher salt and I blended about half of it to make it finer. And then the last third I used sea salt, natural sea salt. I didn't really measure how much basil or sage I put in, but it looks perfect. Pretty much you're putting it in the oven until the herbs are dry and crispy. Now the garlic got mostly dry. I think if I did have it on 2 pans in a thinner layer, that would have been better. But because I had it in the 1 pan, this took about 50 minutes and I stirred it halfway through. But it looks really good, it smells really good. I'm gonna trust that the salt is gonna suck out any remaining moisture from the garlic. And I will update you. If we end up in the hospital from botulism, I'll let you know. If you're gonna make this at home, I'd say maybe skip the garlic and just do your herbs, and that'll be a lot safer. All right, we cleaned up while everything was dehydrating in the oven, so we got a whole outfit change going on here. Thanks for hanging out with me while I harvested some stuff today. The beet harvest was kind of impromptu. My plan today, other than the herb salt, was I really wanted to plant our greens, which are sitting on the porch. We'll put those in tomorrow. I didn't want to get stuck in the rain. I figured it's probably better to be stuck in the rain while you're harvesting than while you're in the middle of planting stuff. So we'll get those in the ground and we'll continue to have a great greens harvest this year. Honestly, this has been really, really fantastic greens year for us. If you want to try the salt recipe at home, let me know how it comes out for you. I don't think I've ever made an herb salt before. I've made smoked salt. We did that last year and we gave that away as like some holiday gifts.
If you're gonna do an herb salt though, and I'm just looking at them on the counter, I'd recommend a salt that doesn't have an overly strong flavor. So like I wouldn't do this with Himalayan pink salt, Celtic gray salt, any of those like, you know, like fancy varieties that you're buying for that specific salt flavor. Get something generic, sea salt, kosher salt, can't go wrong with that. And then your herbs are really gonna shine through. Our kitchen smells so good right now from that like low and slow dehydration of the basil and the garlic. It smells really nice. And you'll see in the recipe too, it'll tell you how much salt to use. It ended up being like, I don't know, the equivalent to like one full 48-ounce box of salt. So if you use that, you're good to go. I'm gonna have to now spend the rest of the evening figuring out the beets. We're gonna clean them up and get them stored away, whether in the freezer, I'll probably like peel and freeze them, or we'll can them. I'll again probably peel them and just can them whole, and we'll go from there. But I hope you have a great rest of your week. If you want to check us out on our other social media channels, I do have a link in the description you can check out. Please join our Facebook discussion group. I'd really love to see more people there. I want to see your gardens. If you're on Instagram, you can find us at The Galaxy Gardens. I do a lot of daily updates there as well. We'll see you next time, and I hope you get to try some cooking now that your own harvests are coming in.